Hey everybody, so I'm currently in Books A Million. Do I need to be here? No, but I am because I have a couple of gift cards. One gift card I got for $30 for my 30th birthday, and I want to spend that. And then I also got a store exchange because Sarah, my husband, got me a book, Verity by Colleen Hoover, which I already read and I already had on my shelf, so I got a store exchange for that. So I'm on the lookout for my next read, and then also looking for some gifts for Maya, some books, coloring books for her as well. So let's see, come along with me, find my next read, and let's see the damage that is done after this. So sounds like such a good book, but it's half of my budget right now. Do they have the paperback? I don't know. And this book was actually written by an author who lives in Memphis, and she actually came to one of our book clubs one year, Mayor of Maxwell Street. I haven't read it because that was the first book club I joined in Memphis, but check it out. I need to check it out too. And then also right beside this book is a book that I DNF'd that I thought was gonna be so good, American Dirt. I had such high expectations for this book, but it disappointed me. It was like, maybe I wasn't in the right headspace or what, but it just kept saying the same stuff over and over and over again. I was like, oh my gosh. But this book sounds really good. It even has a map. I love a map. I love a map. It's the cutest little cup. Oh my gosh. So cute. So cute. Okay, so sometimes you find some hidden gems in the bargain section of Books A Million. So what I found so far, I found these two for $5.97 a piece. So that's pretty good. I just finished S.A. Cosby, what was I calling it? It was Razorback Tears. I don't know, but S.A. Cosby may be my new favorite author because that book was a 5-star, hands down, hands down. I definitely would buy this book if I would have read the first book, but look, $5.97 for book 2. Like, look how thick this book is, and it's on the bargain section, y'all. I've never read this book before, but I've heard that it's really, really good and very emotional. Can't get enough. This is an autographed edition by my girl Kennedy Ryan. So I'm taking a look at the children's books. I'm looking for some bargain books for Maya's birthday, and she loves to read. It makes my little mommy heart so happy. But they have several like books that are $5, $2, $6. So I'm gonna be on the lookout for that. But I'm also gonna be adding some books to her Amazon wish list, and I'm just gonna wait to see what people buy, and then whatever they don't buy, me and Sarah will buy because her grandma and her grandparents just buy her so much stuff. So yeah, we are definitely buying her a big item for her birthday, so I don't want to be spending too much money on like little items. This is totally Maya's section right here. She loves Bluey and Miss Rachel. Like this. So this is my stack right here, and I'm gonna go through this entire stack and then see which books are on Kindle Unlimited so I know which books to not buy. But stay tuned for later tonight to see my full book haul. So this book is actually the second book in the series, so it sounded really interesting, but boo, it's the second book. Alright, hello everyone. So I am back from the bookstore. As you all saw, I went to Books A Million, and I can definitely say that Books A Million has stepped up their game over the years. I've always preferred Barnes & Noble, and then my mom has always preferred Books A Million, I guess because they're more like accessible. There's more of them, especially in Nashville. But I do appreciate our indie and local bookstores more here because we don't have as much access to Barnes & Noble. Anyways, I wanted to kind of talk about the books I chose and didn't choose, and how I really decided to not choose certain books that were in my cart, because as you all saw, I had a huge stack that I wanted to choose from, and I knew I wasn't gonna buy all of those books because I had a limited amount of money that I wanted to spend today. I didn't want to go crazy at all. So Kindle Unlimited, I pay for Kindle Unlimited monthly, and I'm like, if I can read it on Kindle Unlimited or get it from my bookstore or Libby, I do not want to buy it. So the ones that are harder to get on those like platforms, I want to save my money. So the books that I did not buy, starting with the first one that comes to mind, is Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. Can't Get Enough is a new release. I think it was released in May. I really wanted to read it this summer, but I did not get a chance to yet. And I didn't choose this book because I feel like soon it will be on Kindle Unlimited or something. Those first two books I read on Kindle Unlimited. So I do feel like Can't Get Enough will be on KU soon. And it was an autographed pick, and I really wanted to get it, but I decided not to. Second book that I did not choose was Real by Kennedy Ryan, also because I really want to listen to Real, because I heard that the audio version of the book is so amazing because it has real singers, and it's just an amazing like feeling when you read it. I don't know, like you're really immersed in it. But I mean, if you have the physical book too, you can immersive read. But I did not choose that book today. It doesn't mean that I won't ever go back and get these books. It just means today I did not choose those books. The next one, All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. This was on the discounted bargain books, and I really wanted to get this one because it was only $6, but I did not get it because it's also on Kindle Unlimited, and I just read Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby on KU as well, and I was like, let me save my little $6. $6 adds up when you get to that counter. So let me say that, and I'll read it on KU while it's still there, you know. There was a book that was called Tell Me About Home or something by Janine Cummings. And this book was probably at the top of my list to buy over the books that I have right now in my selection, because it was about like Puerto Rico and a grandmother, mother, granddaughter, and their history, their love lives, and how they intersect, I guess, and all about their family and traveling back to Puerto Rico and stuff. My family is coughing a lot. So if you hear them, I don't know what's wrong, but I think they're eating something spicy. But that was at the top of my list. But this was also on Kindle Unlimited, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna save my coins, because this was a $30 book and it was hardback. That was the only one they had. They didn't have paperback out yet. And I want to give Janine Cummings another try, because I was not a fan of American Dirt. I know. I feel like a lot of people love that book, but I DNF'd that book earlier this year, and maybe I need to finish American Dirt to try to get a feel of her writing again. I don't know if I just wasn't in the right headspace for that book or what, but like the descriptions on the back of the book sound like something that I would love. And that's why I was like, let me pick this up. But American Dirt, thought I would love it, and I did not. So those are the books that I did not choose that were really at the top of my list. So let's get to the books that I did choose. So I spent a total, my receipt is my bookmark right now, so I don't want to pull that out, but I think I spent a total of $58, which is pretty good for 3 books. There was one that was more on the expensive end, like $21 for a paperback, which is kind of expensive, but I had a $30 gift card, and then I got $18 in store credit for the exchange for Verity, and then I had $30 cash for my mom as well. So I ended up only spending $9 out of like my own money, or like out of the cash. So that is pretty good for a little mini book haul. So the first book that I got is The Ministry of Time. I have heard so many good things about this book, and I have already started it, as you can see, and I absolutely love it already. Like, this seems like my kind of book. All of these books that I have right now seem like my kind of book. Like, if I could explain my genre, what I like and what I feel for books, all 3 of these books are it. So let's read the description. It says, in the near future, a civil servant begins work on a highly confidential project. A government ministry is gathering expats from across history to discover whether time travel is feasible for the human body, but also for the fabric of space and time. She will act as a bridge, living with, assisting, and monitoring the expat known as 1847, or Commander Graham Gore, who, as far as history is concerned, died on Sir John Franklin's doomed 1845 expedition to the Arctic. But as the bridge acquaints Gore with modern concepts such as washing machines, Spotify, and the collapse of the British Empire, she finds herself falling fervently in love with consequences that she never could have imagined. And I am absolutely loving this book right now. I'm highlighting, I'm underlining words that I don't know in blue, and then in green, I'm highlighting things that I love or think are just like sentimental, because we know they're gonna fall in love, like it says on the back of their book, but I'm highlighting those cute, like, I don't know, you know, like little breadcrumbs leading to their love. And then also in red, how this book is political and also points to really our political climate and how they describe refugees and expats and just defense work, international affairs, all of that is in this book. So if someone ever says reading is not political, like, where are they? Are you living under a rock? So I absolutely love this book. I'm only 17 pages in and I am eating it up. The chapters are quite long, but I think there's only 10 chapters in the entire book. So you can tell that the chapters are going to be long, and I hate getting into a book and like stopping in the middle of the chapter. But they do have like those section headings that can prompt you to stop. So that's where I'm at right now. Loving it, loving it, loving it. The next book that I got, this is a beautiful cover, is Demon Copperhead. Okay, so Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. And I was really debating because I only wanted to get 2 books. You know, you go into the bookstore and you're like, only 2 books, only 1 book. But this one was my last pick. And yes, so Barbara Kingsolver wrote the Poisonwood Bible. Yes, which I downloaded a while ago. Never read it. I downloaded it on Audible, I believe, and I never finished it. I think it's still on my Audible. So I'm like, I need to listen to the book. But when I read the back of this book, I was like, I'm so intrigued. The front of it, I love how it has the little like things, kind of like people describe Magnolia Parks. When you look at the book, it's like there are little hints of why those things are on the front cover. It's like over 500 pages, but again, this book is what interests me, and it really sold me, and I'll tell you why after I read the description. So Demon Copperhead is the story of a boy born to a teenage single mother in a single wide trailer with no asset beyond his dead father's good looks and copper-colored hair, a caustic wit, and a fierce talent for survival, and a plot that never pauses for breath. Relayed in his own unsparing voice, Demon braves the modern perils of foster care, child labor, derelict schools, athletic success, addiction, disastrous loves, and crushing losses. Like, Demon has been through it. Demon has been through it. Okay, with that last sentence there, what sold me on this book as I was flipping through and trying to decide, should I get this today or wait, is it mentioned Mr. Nashville. So I guess someone in this book is called Mr. Nashville. And they also mentioned Knoxville. So I'm guessing that this book is set in Tennessee. And so that's what really sold me for this book and sold me to like get this book today. Even if I don't get to it for a while, I'm like, I have to get to this book. So I turned the light on behind me because it's getting dark and the lighting is getting weird. And he's watching soccer or football, in other words, and they are cheering and going crazy. And we also need to eat dinner. So the last book, drumroll, is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This is her debut novel, and I heard some things about this book as well, that it was really good, but that I think in some parts it fell flat for some people. But the description of this book sounds amazing to me. Like, I have been wanting to read a book like this for a while, because there's a book I've been wanting to read that's similar to this, but I'll try to think of it and mention it after I read the description. But The Vanishing Half, the cover is beautiful. It won the Good Morning America Book Club, and it's a Black author. So I'm like, let me get this book. So it says, twins, inseparable as children, ultimately choose to live in two very different worlds, one black and one white. The Vegnez sisters will always be identical. But after growing up together in a small southern black community and running away at age 16, it's not just the shape of their daily lives that is different as adults. It's everything. Their families, their communities, their racial identities. Like, they're identical twin sisters and they change their racial identities. Many years later, one sister lives with her black daughter in the same southern town she once tried to escape. The other secretly passes for white, and her white husband knows nothing of her past. Still, although separated by so many miles and just as many lies, the fates of the twins remain intertwined. What will happen to the next generation when their own daughter's storylines intersect? Weaving together multiple strands and generations, The Vanishing Half is at once a riveting family story and a brilliant exploration of the American history of passing. Looking well beyond issues of race, it considers the lasting influence of the past as it shapes a person's decisions, desires, and expectations. And that's why I love books like this. Like, all of these books are like history intertwined, fiction, and how it just explores our world. And so this is a book I'm really excited to read as well. And I'm trying to think of the book that, I think it's called Black Like Me. Black Like Me is a book I've wanted to read for a while, and I think it's a mom and a daughter story. So a mom that is passing as white, but the daughter is black. She knows she's black and stuff like that. So I haven't read that book, but I've wanted to read that book, and I think it's a pretty short read, but I wonder if that inspired this book at all. Britt Bennett, I've actually seen The Mothers, and I've wanted to read The Mothers before, and I think it's a similar like cover as this, like the same color palette as this. That's her debut novel, The Mothers. Yeah, Britt Bennett. Yes, because I was deciding between The Mother and The Push when I was at the library, and I chose The Push. And that was probably my most disappointing read this year so far. But thank you all so much for watching, and stay tuned for more videos and a mid-year wrap-up, and see what books I love, which books I hated, what were my 5-star reads, all those things. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.